Hi everyone. I hope everybody is doing well. I normally don't do this. I um I also wanted to I thought about doing live, but I didn't want to be distracted. I wanted my message to go out. So I decided not to. I also realized that social media attention span is about 3 minutes. This message is going to be way longer than 3 minutes. And it's for those who will want to listen to it to its entirety. That's fine if you want to hear the message. But I just thought it wise to just talk about what's on my heart um, pertaining to this coming elections, November 5th. Everybody is doing something in different ways, different forum and different phone banking and knocking on doors and other things. People are doing different things, video and messaging and things like that to put their message out there. Because the feeling out there is that this election is pivotal. It's very important to get it right. And we want to get it right, whatever that means to you. When it comes to electing a leader or choosing a leader, it's very important to be serious about it, to be well informed about the leader and what the leaders stand for, to have the facts, to be convinced, to do your research. It's even more so important in this time of information overload. Any and everybody got something to say. So you get a lot of information. So it's important that when you get this information that you think twice or you look into the information to make sure that you're getting the right information. So my decision to vote right, my decision to vote is based on the fact that I have informed knowledge. I have information, let's say, to inform my decision. My decision is also influenced by my experience, what I have experienced. When we talk about maybe some people are making decisions based on biblical context of faith-based decisions. My decision is based on that as well, who to vote for. When it comes to faith-based decisions, I look at two important things. I actually look at one first. One. When it comes to making decision, faith-based decision, the Jesus that I follow, I look at his life. I look at what he was about. And there's number one thing that is greater than anything that he spoke about. And that was love. That was love. He said, love God with all your heart. Love your neighbor as you love yourself. Love conquers all things. Faith, hope, and love. The greatest of these is love. He said to love mercy, to do justice, and to walk humbly with God. So my faith-based decision is based on Jesus' walk, his ministry. He loved so much that he loved the sick. He loved the poor. He loved the hungry. He loved those who could not speak for themselves, who were out there. He loved the most vulnerable of all. He fought for them. He made sure they were okay. He healed the sick. He made the blind to see. He fed 5,000. He healed the leper. He healed the woman with the issue of blood. So I look at Jesus, the Jesus that I follow. I look at his life to make my faith-based decisions in this word, especially when it comes to elections. We have two candidates. We have one that said, let's take care of the most vulnerable people. Let's cut their taxes. Let's provide housing for them. Let's give them money, child tax credit, so they can be able to take care of their their children. Those that have small businesses that can't even get loans, that are trying. Somebody like me. I've been in business for 13 years. To get loan, it was like pulling teeth. He said, those who have small businesses, let's give them a handout, something, boost them. Let's just, not a handout, but let's boost them so they can get a good start. Those who don't have a good home or are struggling, let's give them something. Shelter, help them to get a home, buy their own home to be proud of. Just take care of those people. That's one candidate. Let's make sure that people maintain their rights. Let their decision be between they and their God. Let's not judge, because that is not up to us to judge. And then there's another candidate who said, you poor and you come to this country, you don't look like me, you don't smell like me, you don't talk like me. You don't count, you don't belong. In fact, my number one policy is to make sure, to make your life miserable, or I will not stop until you all get out of here. Oh my God. The way I'll take you out of this country, you won't even believe the way you'll get out. I will cut taxes for the rich because they're my buddies, to make them richer, because those of you under there, you belong under there. So whatever we get, maybe the crumbs, maybe if you're lucky, you'll get the crumbs. And that's it. Did you hear anything else? No, nothing else came out. It was for those who are in this country. I will do everything that you get out because you do not belong. So far, that's what I heard. So, I know some people will say, I am a Christian, and these Democrats, they're talking about abortion. It's about taking women's rights away from them. It's about controlling women. That's what that is about. No woman will get up and say, today I'm going to get pregnant just to abort the baby. What this policy is doing, and it's killing a lot of women already, young women, it's telling you as a woman, a young woman, that when you are pregnant, if something happens, God forbid, and you have to make the decision between you and what happens to the baby that's in you, your reproductive decisions, that decision is not yours. The court will make that decision for you. The doctor has no right to treat you. If you're bleeding in front of the hospital door in an emergency, you will sit there and die because the doctors will not treat you. I think about my daughters, young daughters and nieces. When they're ready to have their family and plan their family, they will not have that right. I think about one of my sisters who, when she got pregnant, unfortunately she had this eclampsia. What is it called? Yeah. And her pressure went sky high. Pre-eclampsia. It went sky high, and she was rushed to the emergency. God, she was almost about to die. If that decision was made during the time she was pregnant, the doctors would have sat there and looked at her to die. But because she had the right, and the doctors were not waiting for any law, or they were not, under any kind of laws, they had their free will as professionals. They rushed her and aborted that pregnancy that was not even to term in a very careful manner, that the baby was saved and her life was saved. And today my sister is alive, and she's taking care of her beautiful daughter, enjoying her, and we are enjoying her as well. I remember when I was pregnant with one of my sons, I had something called placenta previa or something. I was bleeding. I had to go to the hospital. My God. If we had to wait for the court to make decision, no doctors would have saw me then. What would have happened to me? I wouldn't have been treated. This is what we're talking about. It's not about woman getting up and saying, I'm going to kill a baby today. So Christian people, those of you who think this is about killing a baby, pro-life? You talking about pro-life? When Sina, sport bright people, Sina, cuckoos, they're going into schools and killing people's children. My God. They're slaughtering kindergarteners. Their flesh and bodies floating all over the place. And nobody is saying anything. Have you heard anybody say anything or done anything about it? It's school shooting after school shooting after school shooting. How many parents out there are mourning right now? Mourning their children. Looking forward to graduation and college and and weddings and them going to a job and having their own home and grandchildren. All of that shut down. This whole election, have you heard anything about what we're going to do with guns? Pro-life people, y'all who like life business so much. What y'all saying? Anybody saying anything? When it comes to that. So this whole thing is not about life. It's about control. And women have the right to make their own decision as to what happens to their body. It's not the government. Ain't no old grumpy, racist white man, group of white men, to make that decision for you. I dare not. Okay? We talk about immigration. Look at the way you're being disrespected. You immigrants, those of you who struggle in this country, you do all the dirty work. You struggle, you work so hard. You clean the homes, you clean the hospitals, you're in the fast food place, you're in the factories. You're taking care of the elderly. You're taking care of the elderly. I don't want to go into detail what that entails. You do it with such love and compassion. And look what you are called. The disrespect, the gross disrespect that you're getting. You are educated people as well. You are doctors and nurses and engineers in this country. Okay? You're doing everything you can. You're paying taxes. You are employers. And you're calling you names and looking down on you as if to say, God didn't make you. As if to say you don't have rights as human beings. Be careful who you choose as your leader. You don't even know what's going to be in this police force. You don't even know that. I got black boys in this country, my people. I got black boys in this country, if you know what that means. My oldest son, I have experience. I had to take my oldest son out of this country. Do you know why? Because the system was ready to capture him. I had to make sure he gets out of here before they destroy the rest of his life, of future. Let me tell you how my son's problem started. This child was about, I think, 9 or 10 years old. He was in middle school. He was bullied in his middle school continuously. At one point, his classmate called him a nigger in the class. He was fed up. They got into a fight. They started fighting. The teacher came in between. This white lady came in between and helped my son while this boy was hitting him. And my son trying to get to this guy. He reached over the white lady that was in between and was telling this classmate, I'm going to get you. I'm going to get you. Guess what happened? This lady, the teacher, called the cops on my son. Did not explain anything. And said my son threatened her. Do you know what happened? They charged this little boy with terroristic threat. Arrested him and took him to juvenile detention. My pastor, my late pastor Fred Davis, peace be to his ashes, went to that court that morning It was after my son had spent 3 days in juvenile detention. He went to the court. He said, what the heck you're doing to this child? And released my son. His record started right there. He visited his friend next to his home, his house, where we live. It's walking distance. He was walking from his friend's house in the night to the house. They stopped him, the cops, while walking, asking for an ID. He was with his friend all day, not knowing what happened. He had his friend ID in his pocket. Took his friend's ID out of his pocket and gave it to the cop. He was walking. He was not even driving. They arrested him for that. I got a 2 a.m. call. My son was arrested in the Lehigh County jail. That's how he got a record in this country. I had to get my son out of here before these people destroy him. This is what we're talking about. Do you know what's going to be in the police force? Do you know? You may think that it's not going to be you. All it takes is the color of your skin and a knock on your door. That's all it takes. Vote for people or leader who value you, or leader who care for your well-being, or leader who wants to unite and not divide, or leader who wants to bring peace and freedom to all, or leader who has a heart, who has empathy and love. When you're choosing leader, choose that kind of leader. Christian people, you remember when the Israelites were asking for a king? And Samuel warned them and said, you don't need a king. You don't need a king. A king will abuse his power. A king will take your children as servants. A king will take your property and percentages of everything that you have. You don't want a king. A king will sacrifice your freedom, will take away your freedom and everything that aligns to that freedom. That a king will take it out of the way. You remember that? Christian people, Bible reading people. You always say, God sent this person. God did not send him. God did not send him. God is love. God sent leaders who will care for the most vulnerable. God sent leaders who will love and take care of those in bondage and free them. You remember Moses? He said, Moses, let my people go. Go. Tell Pharaoh to let my people go. That's what he told Moses. God don't send no leader to destroy people's lives, to keep people in bondage, to make people's lives miserable. My people, your vote right. It's not about Messiah has to win. It's not about that. Nobody cares about what side you're on. If that side that you think you're on wins, they don't even care about you. Everything they do will be against you. Do not vote against yourself. Yourself. Don't vote against yourself. Don't vote against your sisters, your daughters, your nieces. Don't vote against them. Give them the rights that they need, also deserve as women. Give them that right. Vote right, my people, November 5th. Vote right. Don't be cynical. Value yourself. Respect yourself. Don't let anyone fool you. They don't care about you. They don't care about you.